So we're off today on our first proper trip up to Scotland, the Kintyre Peninsula. It's going to be 9 nights, 8 campsites. Not sure if that pace of change in terms of sites is going to be a bit too fast. Let me know in the comments below what you think. In the meantime, I've got a picture to take. Taking the first exit because we're stopping off at Kintyre Services, which will be the first time at services. It's 20 to 10 now, about 270 odd miles. Long day in the van. I tweaked my back loading up the van earlier, so it's a bit difficult to say how comfortable it was. But we're here now in a lovely site, Sandbeds Farm. When we got here, it's a very uneven site. It's on the side of a hill, and we've got a levelling system. And the levelling system, when we hit the auto button, basically said no, thank you. It's too unlevel. You have to do it manually. And the manual, the way it works, I've read the instructions, but it just seems a bit weird. Anyway, that is time to go to bed, get a bit of rest. Another day of travelling tomorrow, but only about 170 miles, I think, something like that, so should be much easier. See you tomorrow. Saturday morning, good night's sleep, and woke up a bit cold early on, but that's because we didn't have the heating on. It's a bit of a balance. It's at this time of the season. Saturday morning now, we're heading off up to another CL just east of Glasgow. I'm going to be staying there 2 nights, but at the moment just enjoying the view here at Sandbeds Farm. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous morning. Got the river running down beside us over to my right over here. I think it's the River Loon stretching off into the distance. Quite peaceful, perfect way to start a day. We're now east of Glasgow at Lockwood Farm CL site. Lovely site. I'm going to probably do a CL video of this if I get permission from the owner. We've got 2 nights here, visiting Glasgow tomorrow to visit my son and see a little bit of Glasgow tomorrow, and then we're heading off to the northern end of the Kintyre Peninsula, and then from that point onwards we've got 1 night stops all the way. We've booked all but 1 of the nights in terms of sites, so it's going to be a fairly fast pace. The idea is we're just going to get up in the morning, travel, see stuff along the way, do things along the way, get to the site early to mid-afternoon, pitch, stay the night, and then repeat the following day, and so on. So quite a pace, but for now it's time to get something to eat and get to bed. Just had a delicious sandwich and cup of coffee. The Artisans Cafe, a lovely place, sell bits and pieces, but also do some fantastic food. And it's in an old church, 1800s, 1600s, something like that. This is one of the benefits of campervan as opposed to a caravan, because it's on like a side slip from the main road. So we could just duck in here and grab a nice bite to eat, but we wouldn't be able to do that with the caravan because we wouldn't get back out again. So anyway, pressing on now, heading on up towards Glasgow to Dalacluich Farm. believe it's called Dalaclouche Farm CL site. Beautiful site, the location. Perhaps more importantly, the journey here. We came up the side of Loch Lomond. I've driven that road with a caravan numerous times and many years ago in a car. First time in a camper van. Easier than with a caravan, but it's still quite sketchy along that road. You've got cliffs on one side and it's relatively narrow, but made it up there, no problem at all. And most importantly, along the way, we were actually able to stop. We stopped at a cafe, had a bite to eat there. So stopped at a little rest stop, got a drone out, got some shots with the drone, which was great. We didn't stop too much because it was raining on and off today. But generally speaking, this is why we wanted to get a camper van, so that as we were going along, if we saw something, we could just pull over and go and see something, do it, whatever. And that's starting to kind of come true on this trip, which is fantastic. It's been a fun day so far. First day of the proper part of the trip in terms of touring. The first couple of days were really, 3 days were getting here and visiting family along the way. So other than that, I'll sign off for now and speak to you later. So it's almost 5 o'clock on day 5 and we're at Port Ban Holiday Park, which is definitely not the sort of place we'd normally come to. It's only just in season, so it's not really crowded, and we've got a fantastic pitch right on the coast looking out across the water. View's fantastic. Drove down, it was only I think about 70 or 80 miles, but we're getting much more into the minor roads. Not an awful lot of traffic, but even on the A roads, but it's all just 2-lane roads. The last 14 miles to this site is actually single lane all the way for 14 miles to get here, so it's quite remote. Now we stopped off at Oban, which is a little kind of seaside resort and port and ferries and stuff there. Also experienced there in terms of parking the camper van. Found a car park, double checked the signage, and it was light vans up to 1.5 tons. We're definitely over that. There was a coach and lorry park next to that, but that did have caravan bays, which we were reliably informed by a coach driver that's parked there. That was caravans and caravanettes, which makes more sense because there's no way on earth anyone with anything other than a mini pulling a tiny caravan would have parked in these caravan bays anyway. So we parked there, took a wander around Oban, had lunch there in a cafe and come back. So again, that's the sort of thing we wanted to do touring. We had a leisurely start in the morning, did a bit of driving, saw a couple of places, stopped, took some photos, stopped at Oban, had something to eat, carried on again, stopped on the way down for more photos and bits and pieces. And now hopefully if the weather holds out, we'll have a cooked breakfast for evening meal, cooked on the barbecue, hopefully outside the van as long as the weather holds, but at the moment it's looking stunning. So other than that, we'll see how the night progresses and see you again tomorrow morning. So after some fantastic weather yesterday and absolutely spectacular sunset last night, woke up this morning to rain, which was forecast. So we left Port Ban caravan site about 9 or so, 9:30, and we headed down again a single track, narrow, very windy road. Certainly getting used to throwing the van around all of these curves and stuff. Been some spectacular roads so far on this trip. Headed down from Port Ban through Tabot, past the site we're going to be staying at tomorrow night. Stopped briefly in Campden on the way down, but then headed on all the way down to Southend, not Southend in Essex, but Southend at the southern end of the Kintyre Peninsula, where we stopped for lunch. Basically I got out to take a few photos, but other than that, we stayed in the camper van, pulled up in a car park down there, made ourselves some lunch and sat and watched the sea. Saw a couple of seals, or my wife did, through her monocular, and then came back up to Campbellton, had a wander around Campbellton, did a little bit of shopping for some provisions, and stopped in a cafe on the quay. So this is where our failure of the trip came in. We'd always planned on tonight being a kind of random stop, and rather than book anything, we'll just see where we were. And we'd half thought about kind of stopping at not at a campsite, at a park up or something. There was a Forestry Commission site which someone had said actually you're allowed to stay there, but actually the Forestry Commission car parks at the moment, they're doing a trial allowing you to stay at some of them, because we stopped at one where I flew the drone early on in the trip, and you pay by app for the night. It's about a tenner or something for the night, but that's only ones that are in the thing. And call me a wimp, but I don't like staying somewhere we're not supposed to be staying. I'd rather kind of play it by the book, certainly when we're not used to the camper van at the moment. So we carried on up, and actually we've stopped instead at the, I think it's Caravan site. It's Caravan Club affiliated, and ironically, right behind us, there's another Adria twin. I haven't said hello yet because it's been chucking it down with rain. So yeah, a bit of a wet day, but still enjoyable. Still enjoying the camper vanning, because there's been some spectacular windy roads, and yeah, the Ducato-based Adria has handled them fine. Getting used to it. So we're going to have something to eat tonight. It is getting slightly brighter outside. I'm hoping the rain will stop, and then see you tomorrow morning.
Get ready for summer season.
So it's now Thursday, which I believe is the 7th night of our tour, and heading towards the end of the tour. Tomorrow night we will be back on the mainland, at a site southwest of Glasgow, and from there, quick jaunt across to Newcastle, stop and see a friend at Newcastle, and then it's back home. So had a fantastic time. I've not known a touring holiday in the caravan, which is obviously what we've done in the past, or camping or anything else for that matter, which has gone so fast. It's been a leisurely pace, but also a kind of fairly hectic pace, stopping a different site every single night. One of the CL owners actually said, yeah, doing too fast a pace, you should slow it down. And this was an experiment, but actually, you know, in a way, I think we could probably do with some 2-night stops every now and then. This morning, headed back into Campbellton, did a whiskey experience. Deb wanted to look around a distillery and have that kind of whiskey experience. I don't drink, so I enjoyed the engineering side of going around the distillery. So we did that, had a bite to eat out, didn't get here until about 5 o'clock, and we're now just heading towards sunset. And yeah, it's been a full active day. So whilst we've been travelling every single day, the travelling in itself has been the actual thing to do. The mileage hasn't been horrendous. So really enjoying it. See how tomorrow goes. Tomorrow should be a nice drive up, up round to the coast of Loch Lomond and back down again a bit. And that'll be towards the end of the holiday. But yeah, so far, I've got to say this has been, it's up there with Sweden that we did last year in the caravan. And for a 1-week holiday in Easter, that's saying something. So yeah, loving the camper vanning style of doing things, and we'll see how it progresses. Well, it's been just over 6 weeks since our trip to Scotland, so plenty of time for us to reflect on how it went. At just over 1,300 miles in 9 days, it was certainly the longest tour so far for us in the camper van. With 8 different sites, some people may well say that we actually set too fast a pace. But now we've had time to reflect, what do we think? Well, without a doubt, we were certainly always on the move. But had we still been in our caravan, I suspect we would have actually done more driving. That's because in a caravan, we would almost certainly have had longer journeys at the first and last days. Just basically, it's not worth breaking the journey in a caravan, and we stopped on the way up in the camper van. And the reason we did that in the camper van was also because we weren't used to driving it long distances, or I wasn't, and I wasn't sure how kind of like stressful noise and stuff like that was going to be. As it turned out, it was fine. We could have certainly pressed on and done the whole lot in one journey quite easily. But in terms of the main part of the tour, with a caravan, we would have pitched at 2 or maybe 3 sites and then driven out on day trips, which would have probably added to the mileage. With the van, instead, we stopped at places along the way between the sites. Perhaps most importantly, the time absolutely flew by. There was always something to do or place to get to and things to see along the way. Scotland, and the Kintyre Peninsula specifically, is an absolutely fantastic place to tour, especially in a campervan or motorhome. There are lots of different parking places to stop in, to take a look around. The scenery is beautiful, and Kintyre is one of the less common places to visit. We went there out of season, which made a difference, but apparently even in summer it's not as crowded as other Scottish destinations can get. Our brief tour of the Kintyre Peninsula has to be one of our best camping holidays to date. Now, if you're looking for ideas for a UK trip, then I would definitely recommend it. I hope you found this video helpful, or at least interesting or entertaining, and if you have, then please do hit that like button, and if you're interested in seeing other videos I make, then please do subscribe to my channel. But most of all, thanks for watching.